Y'all ready to be disappointed? So, I haven't made a Dino Fury video until now, to be honest with you. Mostly because of the fact that I don't care. Like, it really doesn't matter to me what Sentai footage we're using, to be honest. Like, it means nothing to me. I don't really care about the name Dino Fury. Like, it's fine. I like Dino Knights to a degree. But again, it doesn't matter to me. I do kind of wish that we used like a different word for dinosaurs, like Jurassic or like something a little more exotic this time around. But that's only really because of the fact that it gets really confusing to talk about this and Dino Charge and Dino Thunder all at the same time. But also, I get that it's good for branding, so I'm kind of whatever. I also don't really care that Green's a girl. I think it's great for diversity, but at the same time, I don't really understand why y'all thought they were gonna give her like a skirt. Like, they've never done that before. Also, I really don't understand why you care. Overall, I'm just sort of lukewarm on Dino Fury stuff right now. And I think it's just because I'm kind of tired of getting my hopes up for the show. I feel like the past decade for Power Rangers fans has really just consisted of us trying to convince ourselves that the show is finally going to be good again. I mean, let's go back to like Samurai, when everyone was like, oh hell yeah, Saban's back, and they made like In Space and Lost Galaxy and Time Force, and so we should be in for some good seasons, this is great. And then Samurai happened, and we hated it, and then with Megaforce we were all like, alright, so Saban had their first go around and it wasn't that great, but you know, the production was probably rushed, it was their first time back, they're trying to get back into the swing of things, and so, you know, this time Megaforce should be better, it should be a good show, I'm excited, and then Megaforce was trash, and come Dino Charge, we're all like, oh snap, Chip Lin's back, so that means that this show is finally gonna be good again, and this time, it was just okay. And then you skip ahead a few more seasons into Beast Morphers, and it was like, oh, okay, Hasbro bought Power Rangers. So that means it must be good this time, because Saban doesn't own it anymore. And then Beast Morphers wasn't that good. And then come Beast Morphers Season 2, we were all like, oh, okay, so the first season, Saban was still kind of around, but now with Hasbro, it is fully like in control this time around, so it should start to get better, and it just doesn't ever get better. And now like the excuse this time around is that like, this is the first time that the show was like fully constructed by Hasbro without any sort of influence from Saban whatsoever. And in all honesty, it just isn't enough for me anymore. It's part of the reason why I really don't care what Sentai gets adapted, because in all honesty, the show's gonna be the same quality regardless. I've just been burned too many times for me to actually be excited about Power Rangers anymore, and it sucks because I love this show so much. I've loved this show for my entire life. Like, I'm 21 now, and I've hated everything that's come from this franchise for like the past decade. That's half my life. I've spent half of my life being disappointed from the one thing that used to be one of my main sources of happiness as a child. So with all that being said, I've never been less excited for Power Rangers than I am now. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop watching it, unfortunately. So it starts straight off with the theme song this time, which is great because Beast Morphers used to just like throw it in like 5 minutes before the episode was over. It was weird. All of the theme songs since Dino Charge have kind of felt like bits and pieces of different songs like mashed together to make one almost kind of a song. Like, you have this general sort of like melody or like chord progression, I don't know, and then you sort of slap in like one or two catchy phrases over it, sort of like evolution, revolution, or like whatever Dino Charges was, and then you sort of add in a sampling of Go Go Power Rangers in, and then you kind of have the opener, which sort of works. I guess it could be worse. This is probably my least favorite opening song, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie. The show opens with a Pink Ranger Amelia pulling up to the Buzz Blast headquarters, which is like this social media conglomerate that she works for. She talks to her boss, who keeps forgetting that the weekend just happened, about this video that she's planning on making for Dino Henge. On her way to Dino Henge, she runs into this guy, Ollie, who is our soon-to-be Blue Ranger. And, I just wanted to mention the fact that these two are really not great actors. Like, worse than normal. Like, I mean, like, bad for even Power Rangers standards. Which is sad, because they looked good, like, on paper. But yeah, no, this is bad. Ollie's mom is trying to research Dino Henge too, because she's like an archaeologist or whatever, and they use a drone thing or something to wake up the energy source from underground, but the park ranger Garcia walks up to put a kibosh to the whole thing, and now his last name is Garcia, which is the same last name as our Green and Black Rangers, implying that like this is going to be their dad or something whenever they're introduced into the show. And this is cool in one sense, because yeah, it's neat to have these side characters like connect to the team in interesting ways, but I'm also worried that this is going to end up like Beast Morphers, where they just throw in a bunch of parental figures who don't really mean much to the story whatsoever. Amelia and Ollie have a disagreement over the existence of ghosts, and they're totally gonna hook up later in the season, like it's so obvious. And then Ryusoulger shows up, Void Knight shows up, and he will not shut up about this goddamn energy source. Like, it would be a bit more tolerable if he didn't use that exact same wording every time he referred to it. It's literally like, where's the energy source? I need to find the energy source. I can't find the energy source. I'm reading up an energy source. And it's like just once, could you have just been like, hey, I'm getting a signal on my tracking device, or something like that. You know, hey, I think there's something in the Dino Henge. Could you have just said it in something like that a little bit? Like, oh, there might be some treasures underneath this henge. Anything like that would have made this significantly less annoying. Everyone makes their way underneath Dino Henge to find this lizard-looking thing trying to awaken Zato, the Red Ranger. Ollie and Amelia jump in to distract Void Knight for a minute, and the show explains how like the foot soldiers this season were like originally like keepers of the Dino Henge, and the lizard chick throws like this key over to Ollie to like awaken them, but Void Knight grabs it before they can, which is a really dope explanation as to like who the foot soldiers are, why they're there, and like, you know, like how they came into existence, and I really dig that. Also, they're called hengemen, which like that's a Disney era level pun. You know what I mean? Like good on the writing team for that one. Hengemen? Like henchmen. They both mention how they took 3 years of karate and how Ollie took 6 years of fencing, which is a great way of explaining how they're able to like fight, especially with swords, so well. But also it's kind of convenient. And as they're fighting, the sabers start to like glow, and they're able to morph into the Blue and Pink Rangers respectively. They also openly talk about how cool it is to be a Power Ranger here, and how they're excited to like see like if they have Zords and stuff. And this is so great, because it's so often that these shows pretend as if no one knows what the Power Rangers are, especially for the first episode, and then later on they pretend as if there's like this big grand history, or like, you know, like a legacy to the Power Rangers. And it's great to see them like out the gate, you know, being like, okay, yeah, so Power Rangers exist in this universe, we know what they are, we know what Zords are. It's small, but like it's nice, because they don't always do that, which is sad, because it's something that they've always should have done. They find the energy source, which happens to be all these like small fleshy looking things called Sporix, which turn into the monsters this season. Zato finally awakens and shows off this Dino Dagger, which is this awful looking American made weapon for Power Rangers, and they accidentally set the Sporks loose. After the battle, Zato unmorphs and explains to the two how 65 million years ago, the Sporks destroyed his home planet and then went to Earth. And Zato's team of knights followed them to Earth to fight alongside the dinosaurs. And during that battle, it seemed as though all hope was lost and they were gonna have to retreat until the Morphing Masters showed up and gave them powers, which is an insane deep cut. I don't know. I don't think anyone was expecting them to show up. For those of you who don't know, the Morphing Masters are the gatekeepers of the Morphing Grid. They were first mentioned in a throwaway line during Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but the comics sort of took that concept of the Morphing Masters and then ran wild with it and did all this crazy stuff with it. And it's so cool to actually see them in the show. On the one hand, I just sort of thought that yeah, it's sort of lazy writing, because it's convenient for them to just show up and give them the powers. But then on the other hand, these guys are technically canonically now the first ever team of Power Rangers from 65 million years ago. As far as we know, there's no team that dates back further than that. Maybe the Eltar Zordon in Eltar, maybe, I don't know. But I think 65 million years is the farthest we go back, right? And so that would mean that this is technically the first ever team of Power Rangers. It's a deep cut that's actually really cool and doesn't feel forced and thrown in for no reason. Evox being Venjix at the end of Beast Morphers felt weird because there was no reason to ever really expect that at all throughout the season. But this is out the gate, yeah, this is this, and because of this, for lore reasons, and it makes sense within the canon of the universe that we sort of set up. So it's really, I really like it. It really had me excited because it's a reference to sort of the history of the show and how niche properties like the comics. It was dope in that respect. But it was also dope in how it's yeah, these are the first team of Rangers. They would be getting their sources straight from the Morphing Masters. It's good. It's solid, and I really like that. It actually had me really hyped, which is unfortunate because I really didn't want to get excited about this. But now I am, and I'm mad at myself. But I'm not that excited though, because Beast Morphers had an amazing first episode, in my opinion. I still think it's a really good pilot. I love the Beast Morphers pilot. I think it's perfect. But after the first episode, the show is kind of boring and really bad. So with that in mind, I'm still sort of neutral overall when it comes to Dino Fury. But the Morphing Masters really did help cultivate a little bit of excitement for me, I'm not gonna lie. But what did you think of the first episode? I still have a bunch of stuff that I want to say about this, so I'm probably gonna be writing essays in the comments below with everyone. Anyways, next time we see each other, it's probably gonna be the first episode of Zenkaiger? I think it's gonna be the Zenkaiger first episode. So that's kind of exciting, right? That's cool. I hope to see you guys then. Bye-bye.